the middle of my 8th grade year, I got a cold and then I got a really bad headache with it, and my cold went away, but until I had the surgery with Dr. Amirlak, it had never gone away. Like, it was just 24/7, consistent, like, woke up with it, went to bed with it, like, never got a break. And I remember people in my grade, because we were 8th graders, didn't really believe that I actually had a headache. They just thought I didn't want to be at school. And so I kind of just blew it off. And that really affected me socially, to the point where I pushed myself really hard my freshman year of high school to be in school all the time so that I didn't lose the friends that I thought were going to be like my really good friends. And then sophomore year is when it kind of, I guess, it affected me the most socially, because I went to school the beginning of the year, and then at the middle of the year things got so bad, like with my friends, with my like mental state, and especially like my pain, because we had gone to so many doctors and I had stayed for 14 days in a hospital and all these different kind of things that I figured if I had something that they could fix, it would have been fixed already, because it had been years and it was getting really frustrating. And I had a point where I did not go to school anymore. I was in my basement for probably like 17 days. I went upstairs to sleep at night and like go to the bathroom, but she brought my food down to me, like, because our basement doesn't have any windows, and so I was just in like a secluded dark area, which worked for my pain, I guess, because I couldn't handle the light, but it made everything else so much worse because I didn't see my friends at all. Like, I wasn't keeping up with school or like social things because everybody was going on in life and I was stuck in my basement. And I guess it kind of felt like, yeah, I knew I was alive, but I wasn't living because I was in high school, but I was in my basement. And it got really lonely all the time, and it was just a really big struggle, and I really didn't think I was going to get out of it. I had gotten super depressed and even suicidal, and everything was just, it came down. And then I went through like a really bad, everything combined plus how much pain I was in just totally took a toll on everything, and it was absolutely terrible, and it was really bad. So, and we had tried so many things. Like, we had gone to Detroit Children's Hospital, we had gone to chiropractors, kinesiologists, neurologists, ophthalmologists. We had checked my diets, like how my body was structured. I got put on so many different medications with so many different side effects, to the point where like one time I was on Topamax, and a side effect of it was like I could not figure out how to act the way I knew I used to be. Like, I couldn't figure out how to be myself. I was super bubbly and all this stuff, but I got super irritable and I did not know how to be who I knew I actually was. It wasn't worth the side effect of pulling apart my relationships with my family and my siblings and my friends. Before we met Dr. Amirlak, it was a lot of like, is it really worth the other things I'm losing because of it? Because with medications, there's always some kind of side effect. It was either you lose a lot of weight, you gain a lot of weight, you get irritable, you like depression's a side effect and stuff like that. And then it was never ending because it was just one thing on top of another, where it wasn't just the pain anymore, it was the pain as well as the anxiety, as well as the depression, as well as losing my friends and being behind in school, and like feeling like I had to form and shape and think about my future around my pain, to the point where if I wanted to like go to a 4-year college for something, I thought that, oh, well, that's not going to be my future because I can't go to that college, because I can't do college, I can barely do high school. And people would always suggest to us this doctor or that doctor or this hospital, or go to a chiropractor and stuff, and I feel like everything they suggested we had already done. I shouldn't have been going through that. I was a teenager, and so much of my high school life was torn away from me because of this migraine that I have that people can't even see, that the pain's invisible, and that like I can see it, and the people that are closest to me can tell, like my eyes lose their sparkle when my pain gets really bad, and this and that. But it's not like a broken arm where you're put in a cast and people know to be sensitive to this and that. It's like a pain that's super invisible, and for me it was like I felt like a burden on almost anyone I hung out with in high school, because high schoolers want to have their music loud in their car, they want to like stay up late and be loud and all that stuff, and I was always the reason, like, guys, can you turn it down? I need to go to bed, or I need to leave, or do you have this medication or that, or I can't sleep over here because my meds are at home. Oh yeah, my dad had been looking it up on the internet. Weird, because we had never really been out of state with stuff. Like we had gone to, I live in Michigan, so we had gone to Ann Arbor and like places that were a little bit further away, but going to Texas was kind of like, oh, we're going to Texas. He's joined a lot of, I had new daily persistent headache, and so he had searched a lot about that, and he had joined like Facebook pages of people that were gonna have the surgery and like stuff to do with Dr. Amirlak. There really wasn't any other options until my dad looked that up, because he hits nerves so spot on. Like I have gotten so many nerve blocks done by my neurologist in their office in Ann Arbor, and those really hurt. Like nerve blocks hurt, but it was so much worse here because I could like tell like he hit my nerve spot on, because yeah, he didn't get to finish because I was literally falling. And I have never cried in an appointment before, because I've had a lot of times where we got in the car after my appointment and I would just totally break down because it hurt so bad, but I've always like wanted to be strong in appointments. This appointment, there was no way, and he's such a personable person that I felt like I could break down. He like came in, he called me Ellie, which is, it's what I go by even though my name is Allison, and I've never ever had that with another doctor or anything. Like, he's just so like gentle and personable, and like one point I was like, I don't even know why I'm crying because I don't have pain right now, even though that nerve block like hurt really bad. I don't know why I'm crying. And then he came in and he was like asking me how I was, and he let me like put on music when I got nerve blocks, and then he came in and I was crying, and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I don't even know why I'm crying because I don't have pain anymore, but I'm crying. And then he was like, well, if your pain's gone, we don't need to do the other two. Like, he gave me Botox that worked a lot because I wasn't sensitive to lights. We got there very early in the morning, and I remember like the whole way I was nervous about it because he had actually talked about how he didn't know if I could have like both parts of the surgery, like front and back. Wow, this is gonna be a big deal. And for me it was easiest because I never had to like be alone in the hospital. Like when I got put to sleep, my mom was still there, and when I woke up, even though when I woke up I had like that gel mask thing on, and so I thought something had gone like terribly wrong because I couldn't see. When I first got out and like saw myself in a mirror, I was like, I literally do not even look like myself. And my face was so puffed up and black and blue, and you could see all the little pokey parts, and I don't even know, but it was so weird how quickly, like every day I looked different. Like it was such a quick recovery look-wise, besides like my hair growing out, that part. It was like one day this part of me would be black and blue, and the next day that would be totally fine, and my eyes would be more wide open, and then under my eyes would be black and blue. And like if we took pictures of every day, I did not look like the same person. I did not feel much pain after the surgery. Like I think my pain was just mainly like the fact like the little bruise, my headache was gone, and which was weird because I don't know, I've never had that, so when it went away I kind of didn't exactly know what to do. Like, what if people do that don't have headaches? I was like, I can really kind of do whatever. And my surgery recovery was so fast. I don't know if it's because I'm young or just because he's really good, but if from 1 to 10, it was probably like an 8 consistently every day. But I think it's really built up my pain tolerance and now I can really handle any pain because I was in pain so long, and it was really bad. Probably like once every 2 weeks I maybe get a headache that's like a level 4, which is amazing. It's ridiculous how different my life is because I don't have pain. Like I can take 2 Excedrin migraine and it goes away. And before, like, I would have to take Norco, but it would never even go away. I remember we play beach volleyball every time we go camping, and I was like half in, half out, but like I love volleyball. It was a sport I played before I had to quit because of my headache. I had to quit volleyball, soccer, and basketball all in 1 year. So that was really hard for me because I was really athletic and I loved sports. But anyway, we were playing beach volleyball and everybody like knew that they had to be careful because like if I got hit in the head, but obviously accidents happen, and one of the guys on the other side of the court spiked and it hit me in the head, and then everybody had to completely stop playing, and I got taken back to our trailer and I had to lay down for the rest of the night, and it was like maybe 7 at night, so that stunk. And I even woke up the next day and it still hurt a lot, and I couldn't go on sea-doos or boats or tubing or anything like that because it would just totally send my head through the roof. Have you ever heard of pickleball? Oh, we play that like every night, and I absolutely love it. And like my family will let me play on the shade side, so I'm not like looking in the sun. And if I just drink a lot of water and I take, sometimes I don't take anything, sometimes I just take an Excedrin migraine before I play, and then I'm fine. Like we've played like 4 hours some nights. Like my friends now are like an awesome combination of, oh, you want to go do something fun, or is everyone feeling it, or do we just want to like sit around, do we want to like talk, like stuff like that. So I definitely would say that I wish I had the support group I do right now. When I went through things, I think it would have made it a lot easier for me, and maybe my depression wouldn't have gotten so like suicidal bad. But because besides my family, I didn't really have a support group. And I also have a boyfriend now of like 4 months-ish, and he's awesome. So I wish I would have had all the people in my life right now when I went through it. I definitely don't think I would have been able to juggle as many things as I am. Like at the end of my junior year, I was going to school as well as cosmetology school after that. And then I am also involved in a singing group for our school. And that's another thing, is I love to sing, and when I had my headache really bad, like singing triggered it. So that was the hardest thing for me because I couldn't listen to music that I loved, and now I listen to, like, I don't have music on. My sophomore year I went to prom because my boyfriend was a junior, and we just got to eat food and leave. We didn't even get to the point of dancing because everything was so loud and I just couldn't be there. Now, like, we got to go to prom and we got to dance, and we did leave early, but that was because both of us were tired. I can participate in so many things I don't think I would have been able to, and I don't think I would be able to look at like my future positively like the way I do now, because I was always like, well, that sounds like a cool career and stuff, but I don't think I'd be able to do that because no, I can't do that. And I think the only thing that I was considering that would have been realistic for my future at that point was being a masseuse, because everything's dark, everything else, it was like, but this or but that, and you can't have this much. Like, I would not have been able to be a cosmetologist, which is what I'm going to be right now, and I love it because I was too sensitive to smell. And so with all the different products that like you use in shampoo and like that kind of stuff, there's no way I would have been able to do that. And now, like, I absolutely love it, and if it would have kept going, there's no way I would have been able to pursue a passion, which is my like favorite thing as now. So. I think for like girls, you want your hair to be the way you want it to be, and so if in order to get rid of the pain, you have to like shave all the way up. Like, I don't think any girl wants to really lose her hair. Hair grows back. Yep. One thing I would definitely say that I wish someone would have told me is I guess I never really had, like, no one in my family had headaches, so it totally felt like I was completely alone in this. And I mean, I had supportive people, but no one really felt what I was feeling, and that gets really lonely. And so I wish I had someone to tell me that you are not the only person going through this. Yes, it's like, oh, you get a migraine every once in a while, you're not like me, like you do not have it as bad as I do. And it's almost like that kind of thing where if someone would say they had a headache, I would sit there like, are you kidding me? Like, I constantly have a headache, and I kind of was offended when people would say that around me, but in reality, I wish someone had told me like to not look at it that way. Like, yeah, they have a headache, that doesn't mean that you don't. Like, you are still going through a lot, but the fact that you're going through it and you're still alive and you're still going through it proves that you are so much stronger than you were at the beginning of it. Because, and I was like so suicidal, but I think I wish I would have had someone that had gone through it before me and told me, Ellie, if you were to take your own life, there would be, like, your testimony would go unfinished. And now being on the other side of it, it's being on the other side, like now I can do videos like this where if someone wants to watch it, it's so different. Because if like I was almost gonna take my life, I wouldn't have met Dr. Amirlak, I would not have gotten the surgery, I would not be living the life that I'm living, and how much like it's so positive and everything is just like full of energy and living. And I didn't think there was any kind of hope like that. Like, it's definitely true that if I would have done that, I wouldn't, like, I understand that I inspire people, and as weird as that sounds, like, I get that people look at the strength that I've gained through going through the experiences I have, and that's really like a motivation for them to keep going. And I guess I'm glad that I can be that figure for people now, because I had been in that suicidal position where I was like, no, I don't want to keep going through this. Like, I get that I may just keep going through it for the people that like look at my testimony later and see that I went through it. You're gonna go through a lot of maybe losing friends, maybe you're gonna have to give up activities that you loved to do because you can't do it anymore. And maybe you're gonna spend days in the dark and you're gonna go through pain and all these things, but you just have to remain strong. Because when my dad talked about Dr. Amirlak and he had read some reviews to me, like that's when I like saw the light in the situation. Like, I got hope when he said that, because it was something totally different that we had not tried before. Like, as soon as I got here and met him and saw how like personal he was with me, and even though like I am a patient of his, like we're not on like friends basis or anything, but like he still like treated me like not like I wasn't just another patient. Because that's one of the most offending things in going to a doctor's office, is just being like they get through you really fast and then move on because there's another patient coming. But it's with him, like he really took his time with me, and he really like he's very passionate about going through this stuff as cautious as you can, I guess, because it's not just a physical pain. There's so much mental involved in it, and like social and everything. It's not just a headache. Like, it takes over your life. It sucks. But obviously there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like, being on this side, I'm like, wow, this is so different. Like, I can't even believe that some people get to feel this every day, and like they've never had like the headaches I've had. But I guess it just makes you so much more thankful for your health, because I don't really think people understand how awesome like being healthy is until you're healthy too. Because as soon as I got my migraine, I would have done anything to get rid of it. I would have gone through, like I would have broken every bone in my body just to get rid of my headache. It did not matter. Like, now that I'm on the other side and I rarely even get headaches, it's like, this is awesome. Like life used to be really hard for me, but being on the other side, like, you're so much more thankful, you're so much stronger, you really have like a sensitivity for people who are going through pain. You gain like a bigger perspective on a lot of things that you didn't have before in your secluded world of being super healthy. Even though I get bad headaches, it like every once in a great while, like when I get it, it does not matter, because I know that after the surgery I am still better than I was before. And when it comes to migraines, any little tiny step you can get towards having less pain is a huge one. Because even if the surgery had worked 50% for me and I still had headaches every other day, it would be so much better than what I had before, because you know that something at least worked and you are not alone, and you are not unfixable. Like, you have a problem and they can fix it. When we had told my neurologist back home that we were getting this surgery, like, they were a little bit hesitant about it because he's not a neurologist, but like, he specializes in this surgery, and I think there's something to be said about the fact that we came all the way from Michigan, and now I'm there and they tell me I look so much more alive and I look so happy. And as a neurologist, I don't think they send people necessarily here, but I had a folder probably this thick that they brought in every time that just had all the stuff that we had tried, all the medications they had prescribed, and it was just getting to the point where it's like, oh my goodness. But they're like so happy. And I think for me, I just love the fact that my psychiatrist literally sent me away because she said I was doing that good. Like, she goes, all right, next time is going to be your last appointment. And then it was my last appointment. She goes, you really don't need to come back. You're doing great. And the fact that I got through it when she was on her maternity leave is when I had, I did it by myself, which is, I mean, obviously I have my family as well, but our appointments are now getting less and less frequent. The medications are going down. I got sent away by my psychiatrist because I'm doing that good. Like, I never would have expected that I would be on this side of things. We were going to Ann Arbor like 3 times a week. And I was a very familiar face there, and now it's getting less and less frequent. And